Hello everyone, my name is Aubrey and today I'm going to be doing my top 10 series that I want to read in 2021. So these are all series that are complete, as in all of the books have been published. These are sort of backlist reads, but they're series that I haven't gotten to and need to get to. I would say that my top 5 series on this list are like absolute must read. Why haven't you read these yet? What are you doing with your life? I can't believe you. Oh my god. Books. And the bottom 5 are series that I really hope to get to, that I'm really excited about, but I guess they're not like super top priority. I don't know. I'll just get into it and we can talk about it as we go. The first series, and the one that I'm probably the most on the fence about, is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. My first problem with reading this is that I don't yet own all of the books. I've been trying to collect them in these adorable little like tall mass market editions, but they've gone out of print and they're kind of hard to find now. So I only have books 1, 4, 5, and 7. And the other issue with this series, and it being a priority, is that the series is really long. It's 8 books long. There's like a book in the middle, I think like a 7.5 or 6.5. I don't remember exactly where it goes, but I know there are 8 books. But then on top of that, there are like all of these other Stephen King books that you're supposed to read alongside of the Dark Tower series, because they like tie in. There are characters that tie in, and I mean, I'm not really sure. I just know that there are other books that you're kind of supposed to read along with this series. And I've heard both sides. Like, I've heard some people say like, oh, you have to read like the other stuff. Like, there are some very crucially important other King books that you need to read along with this. And then I've heard other people say that it's not necessary and you just can read the series all on its own and get to those other books eventually. But I don't know. I kind of I want the whole experience. Like, I want to read, like, if I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna read an 8-book series by one of my favorite authors, like, I kind of want the whole experience. But that is a huge undertaking, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be up for it this year. There are so many other series that I haven't read that I just really want to get to. That being said, probably every year of my life is going to feel that way, so I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I do really want to get to these. Like I said, Stephen King is one of my favorite authors of all time, and this is like just supposed to be excellent, and I will hopefully get to it in 2021. We'll see. The next series that I'm hoping to get to is the City of Brass trilogy. I'm not sure if this has a different like trilogy name. So this trilogy finished up this past summer. I think the last book came out in June or July. I don't remember. And I had every intention of picking it up kind of around that time when the last book came out, but I was in a pretty bad reading slump around that time, just, with the state of the world and everything going on. I didn't feel like reading, and so I never got to this trilogy. And so they've been sitting on my shelves all year, and I want to make sure that I get to them before they sort of fade into the background. Sometimes when I've owned a series for too long, it starts to sort of stop registering in my brain that I like need to read it. It starts to feel like I've already read it, but I haven't read these and I need to read them. So I want to put this on my priority list for next year to make sure that I get to them. They are like a Middle Eastern mythology inspired trilogy. I've heard some really great things about them. Yeah, I just really want to make sure I get to these at some point next year. And also the covers are just gorgeous. I mean, they're beautiful books. Ridiculous. Okay, number 8 on my list is very shameful. It is the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy by Miss V.E. Schwab. I can't believe I haven't read these. These have been sitting on my shelves for years. I don't know why I haven't picked them up. I really don't. I even got this last book signed by her when I met her at BookCon a few years ago when I was still living in New York. Like, she signed it for me, and I haven't read it. And I think especially I've heard rumors that she is going to be continuing on with the series, so there's going to be another 3 books in the series now, I think. Don't quote me, please. Yeah, I really love V.E. Schwab. I can't believe I haven't read these. I absolutely need to. Yeah. Okay, number 7 on my list is the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. I just recently hauled these in my last fantasy book haul. I have just been dying to get to Joe Abercrombie. I have heard just incredible things about him and his writing. I've heard incredible things about this trilogy and the books that come after, and I really want to get into it. I have no idea what these are about. I know that they're grimdark, but that's the extent of my knowledge. I'm still just very intrigued, and I really, really, really want to read these next year. Okay, the next series that I want to read next year I don't own yet, but I have pre-ordered the special, beautiful Fairy Loot hardcover editions that got released recently, and that is the Ember and the Ashes Quartet. I have been dying to read this series for years. The first book came out all the way back in 2015, and people are still like raving about this series. You know, it hasn't sort of fallen off the radar. People still love this. People are still talking about this, and the 4th book just came out, and I am definitely going to be reading this next year. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the pretty editions that I ordered. If you don't know, if you don't follow me, I'm the type of person who will wait for a whole series to be out so I can binge read the whole thing, and this is a series that I've been waiting for ages and ages to be finished so I could finally read it. I think the Fairy Loot editions are supposed to ship out in like February of next year, so yeah, hopefully I will be reading these around March or April or whenever I get them. But yeah, I think that will be a series that I just start reading like the second I get my hands on them. I'm so excited. Okay, so now we are down to the top 5 series that I need to read in 2021. These are like, you know, must reads, utter priority. Can't believe you haven't read them yet. And sitting at the number 5 spot is Full Metal Alchemist. I have been reading this series since middle school. I started reading these when I was like 13 years old. I didn't complete the series because manga is really expensive, and my allowance did not allow me to just keep purchasing the individual books in the series, because manga series can run for a lot of books. This isn't even all of them. And at the time, like, I didn't know how many there would be, and I didn't know how much of a, you know, a time sink and a money sink that would be. So I think I stopped collecting them after volume 6. And so a few years ago, they came out with these like bind-up editions. So, you know, this is volumes 1 through 3, and I have up until volume 15, but I think there are like 27 or 28 volumes in total. So there will be a few more of these bind-ups that I will need to acquire. Like I said, you know, I was first introduced to Full Metal Alchemist when I was in middle school, and I think it's excellent. I mean, it is excellent. And I've watched all of the original anime, so not Brotherhood, but the other one, the first one. The issue with that one was that it eventually caught up with the manga and then kind of had to make up its own ending for the show, I guess similar to what Game of Thrones had to do, and so it ends up not being canon. But like, I loved that anime series. Like, I used to think that I was so cool because I would stay up late and watch it on Adult Swim, and I thought I was like so rebellious watching Adult Swim to, you know, watch Full Metal Alchemist and like Inuyasha. So anyway, I have to read this next year. Like, I can't go another year not having finished this series. You know, I was rereading it a few years ago, and then I stopped again. I think it was around the time when I moved, and so I haven't picked them back up, but I need to. I'm going to be rereading, you know, the first few volumes or however many I got through, and just continuing on and finishing it. It is really long, but it's manga, so it'll go by fast, and I think if I start early in the year, then I should be able to finish it by the end of the year. Number 4 on my list of must-reads is the Scythe trilogy by Neil Shusterman. I read his Unwind dystology a few years ago, and I absolutely loved it. I think about that series all the time. I think it is so thought-provoking and interesting, and it just asks a lot of interesting questions. It's one of my favorite young adult series of all time, and I cannot believe that I haven't read this trilogy. I think maybe the hype for these threw me off a little bit, because I think his Unwind series is so underhyped and underappreciated that then when this came out and everyone was freaking out about it, I was just like, I was put off by that. I don't know. I don't know what happened. These have been sitting on my shelves for a while. I have to read these next year. I mean, I have to read these next year. I can't believe I haven't read them. And every day I pass my bookshelves and they're just staring at me like, why haven't you read me? It sounds amazing. Like, it sounds totally amazing. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me that I haven't read these yet, but next year's the year. Okay, in my number 3 slot of series that I must read next year is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. So I read my first N.K. Jemisin this year. It was a short story called Emergency Skin. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I cannot recommend it enough. It is excellent. It's one of the only 5-star ratings I gave out this year. Like, I think a couple of the volumes of Lock and Key that I read got like a solid 5 stars, and then that short story, which I read at the very beginning of the year, got a solid 5 stars for me. And nothing else has this whole year. I've had a lot of 4.5s, had a lot of, 4-star reads, but that short story knocked it out of the park. I loved it. But again, I read it at the beginning of the year, and I can't believe that I didn't pick up this trilogy after that. I think the problem was that at the time, I didn't own the second book, or maybe I didn't own the third book. I don't know. I was missing one of the books in the trilogy, and so I guess maybe I felt like I couldn't pick it up at that time. But I have them all now. And I have to read these. This, again, I think is kind of dystopian-esque. I mean, I know it's fantasy, or at least I think it's fantasy, but it's got like some dystopian elements. But yeah, I've heard amazing things about this. She won a Hugo Award for the first and the third book. I'm not sure about the second one. It doesn't have one of those ugly permanent stickers on it. But yeah, I can't believe I haven't read these. I must read them. My number 2 slot is very embarrassing, and I'm really sorry. Like, I feel like I have to apologize to you that I haven't completed this duology, and it is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I have read Six of Crows, okay? Please don't come at me. I have read Six of Crows, but I read it a few years ago, and I think at the time I was just wanting like something very fast-paced and like exciting and addicting. And Six of Crows, just to be perfectly honest, is kind of slow. It's kind of a slow book. And when I went into it, I was expecting this like crazy heist novel. There's a heist in it, but it's not like, I don't know, it didn't sort of have that like addictive page flipping quality that I was looking for, and so it was kind of a letdown. I did give it 4 stars. I think the characters are amazing, but it just wasn't sort of what I was looking for at the time. And then it ends with a cliffhanger, and so I thought that maybe Crooked Kingdom would be a bit more fast-paced, and I got a few chapters into it and it was still kind of slow, so I set it down and I haven't picked it back up. And I have to finish this. I have to finish this duology. It's only 2 books. I think probably next year what I want to do is I want to reread the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo, since the Netflix show is coming out I think next year. I don't know if we have any like news or updates about that, but I think it's coming out next year. And it's been such a long time since I read that trilogy, and I don't remember like anything about it except for the ending. So I'm thinking maybe what I'm gonna do in 2021 is reread the Grisha trilogy. I'm gonna reread Six of Crows and finish Crooked Kingdom. And then I will move on to her other duology, King of Scars, and she's publishing a new one in March. I don't remember what it's called, sorry. But I think that's my plan. I've also heard that there is supposed to be a Six of Crows number 3. I've heard that rumor. I saw it on Goodreads. So I don't know very much about that. Is it going to take place after the King of Scars duology? Because doesn't one of the characters in this duology like go on to be in that duology, and then I don't know how that's gonna work, but yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know if that is slated to come out next year or not. Either way, I have to finish this in 2021. I am like so embarrassed that I haven't finished this duology. This is like the BookTube ultimate favorite series, and I haven't finished it, so I gotta do that. Okay, so here we get into like the really embarrassing one. It hurts me so bad. Like, this one hurts me, and it is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So, to give you a little more information about me, I love the Lord of the Rings movies. I love the films with my whole heart. Like, we went to see them in theaters when they came out. We would go for my dad's birthday because my dad's birthday is in December. They would come out around that time. And when I was in 7th grade, I'm giving my age away here, but we got the first movie on VHS from Blockbuster because it was like a thing they were doing where if you rented movies for like 4 weekends in a row, you would like get a free movie, and the movie that we picked was The Fellowship of the Ring. I took that VHS home and I watched that movie, The Fellowship of the Ring, every day of 7th grade and probably 8th grade too. I would just put it on while I was doing homework, and it got to the point where I had that first movie, you know, the theatrical cut, not the extended editions, but the theatrical cut, memorized. There was a time in my life where I could recite the whole movie from memory. Like, I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm not. And I had this cheap replica of the One Ring that I had gotten off of a bookmark, and I put it on a chain, and I wore that every day of like 7th and 8th grade. Like, I wore it every day. I slept in it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I have no excuses. So yeah, I love the Lord of the Rings. I love it so much. And at the time, I tried to read the books. Again, if you're new to my channel, I had and have learning disabilities. So I'm dyslexic and I have ADHD. And I tried to read the books, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get through them. And I was so disappointed, and I was, disappointed in myself that I, wasn't a strong enough reader to like get through the books. And I have yet to attempt to try to read them since that time. I think I'm just really afraid that I won't love them as much as I love the movies, and I'm gonna be sad about that forever. I don't know, like, I want to love them. I want to love them so bad. I want them to be my favorite book trilogy of all time. Like, I want them to live up to how much I love the films, and I'm so afraid that they won't. And then I'll my whole reality will be shattered, and I won't know what to do with myself. But I just can't let another year pass by without reading The Lord of the Rings. How could I not have read them? So yeah, 2021 is gonna be the year. I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna make myself sit down and read them. My plan is that I think I'm gonna listen to the audiobooks while I sit down with the physical books and read them. I don't own a set of The Lord of the Rings because I've just been sort of waiting for the perfect, beautiful set. And I think I found the hardcovers that I want to invest in on Book Depository. There are some really pretty editions that I think I will buy for myself after Christmas. And yeah, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read them, and I hope I love them. I want to love them. So those are the 10 series that I want to get to in 2021. Please let me know some of the series that you are hoping to read in 2021. I am praying that it is a better year next year. I have a lot of hope that next year is going to be better for everyone. But yeah, let me know some of the books that you are excited to read in 2021 to make it an excellent year. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.